Welcome to the On Deck podcast for all your baseball DFS needs with your superstar host, fantasy baseball experts, Casey, Bubba, and Bogman. On Deck podcast is sponsored by Line Star app, the #1 top-rated data and analytics tool for daily fantasy sports.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the On Deck MLB DFS podcast, brought to you by the wonderful people at Line Star Sports. Make sure you check them out on the old Twitter there, at Line Star app and at Line Star MLB, and download the app in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Everything you'll need to build your winning lineups in the palm of your hands. You can find myself on Twitter at BDintric and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at Bogman Sports. Scott Bogman, how are we doing, my friend?
You know, nothing like losing to the Pirates 2 games in a row, so got to enjoy that. Cattell went deep, though. So
pinch hit, unfortunately. I was like, God, when the lineup came out, I'm like, how is he not starting? And then he pinch hit homer. See?
Yeah, of course. And I think every tribesman not named Jose Ramirez hit a bomb tonight. So that's just kind of the way she goes. If you ever watch Trailer Park Boys, the way she goes. Sometimes she goes, sometimes she doesn't.
Yeah, the Giants played home run derby in New York. That was fun. The ball was literally just everything that went in the air was just flying to the track or deeper. It was crazy the way that ball was flying out of there. And then our good old game stack, the Angels and Orioles, did not disappoint. That game went banana lands. So if you played there, you're doing good. The thing for me is the pitchers I focused on. Flaherty left with a shoulder injury. Bumgarner wasn't great. He wasn't horrible. Wasn't great. Loved Marquez. That game got rained out. It was just kind of one of those, like, even Burns wasn't great. And I was kind of worried about that going into it. He wasn't great. Yeah. It was Molly was good. Eric Fede dominated Miami. That was kind of where you needed to plant your flags on this on the Tuesday night slate. So we live, we learn, we move on. We have 10,
live, laugh, love, right?
Yeah, there's too much of those things at stores I have to go to. Like, go to Pier 1 and go see all that great stuff. It's unbelievable. Talk about okay.
Oh, that did not take a lot at all. That was
I can't say it on this podcast. I have to keep things PC on this podcast. So, go live, laugh, and love somewhere else, and we'll go on to Wednesday's 10-game slate. There's a couple day games to pay attention to, but we got 10 games to break down for you on your Wednesday slate of action. Again, if you have the Line Star app, you're already ahead of the game, but we'll kick things off with the Angels at the Orioles, heading back to Camden Yards in this one, and no total on this one. We got Shohei Ohtani going up against Dean Kramer. Ohtani is 87 on DK, 11.6 on FanDuel. Kramer's 56 and 63. Any interest in going back to Ohtani against Baltimore?
Yeah, I mean, I love the matchup here. Ohtani has been hot. So, not overly expensive either. 8,700 on DK. I mean, on FanDuel, 11.6 is obviously pricey, but I'm in on Ohtani at that price. Love him. Makes me off of Baltimore bats, but if you want some Angel bats against Kramer here, Gosselin, Marsh, Walsh, as you mentioned yesterday, David Fletcher, I'd pick out of that bunch.
Yeah, Ohtani on DK, like usual, mispriced, underpriced. Great play at 8,700. Not sure I'm going to the FanDuel at 11.6, though. Can't really do that. And then stack up your Angels. Like you said, you got Marsh, who played well. Jared Walsh is starting to break out like we were hoping so. But Fletcher, Gosselin, Iglesias had a good game. There's a handful of guys all played really well. Obviously, when you score 13-plus runs, that's going to happen for you. But it's an offense that can get clicking, and against a Baltimore team and a Baltimore bullpen, you can get clicking against them. So it's a great spot to attack again on this 10-game slate. Arizona at the Pittsburgh Pirates. We got your boy, Tyler Gilbert, going up against Mitch Keller in this one. Going to be a doozy because we know Gilbert, pitch to contact Gilbert. I'm just going to stack this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the right call. Stack either side of this one. Varsho, Walker, Marte, obviously with the pinch hit bomb today. Josh Rojas, Satsugo, Hayes, Colin Moran, Stallings, Gamble. You can stack up either side, and they're both fairly cheap, so I like it.
Yeah, I prefer going back to the D-backs with the Varshos, the Martes, like Walker even had the day off too. Peralta, Rojas, I like that mix of things, but I have no problem going against Gilbert. We talked about him on the ITL show and some other stuff. Massive pitch to contact guy, coming from the left side of the plate there, so you can look at Tsugo, who switch hits. Brian Hayes has been kind of disappointing, but I get it. But like Brian Reynolds, good switch hitter. Kevin Newman, hopefully hitting towards the top of the lineup. Jacob Stallings is a cheap catcher. You can get some exposure to this game. I like the Arizona side a little more because I like the overall package of their hitters, but no problem going with some righties, righty bats, or even lefties the way he pitches it to contact against Logan Gilbert as well. Tampa Bay at the Philadelphia Phillies. In this one, we have Ryan Yarbrough, Zach Wheeler, Yarbrough 7K and 7,100, Wheeler 10K and 11,000. I am definitely interested in one Zach Wheeler tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he's always in play, right? And it makes me off of Tampa Bay bats overall, too. I mean, if you wanted to go contrarian and play Franco, Lau, Cruz, Margot, one of those guys, that's fine. Not a lot hitting on the Philly side, maybe Herrera, maybe Harper, but mainly just Wheeler in this game.
Yeah, I like Wheeler quite a bit. I will admit, though, he has not been overly dominant his last two starts. Like you said, if you want to be contrarian with like Brian Lau, who loves to crush righties, or like a Franco or something, you can. Otherwise, I am on board with some Phillies bats with Harper and Hoskins and Segura. And McCutcheon's been off the last 2 days, so maybe he's still kind of banged up, so keep an eye on that. But get some Phillies exposure against Yarbrough, who's just not the guy we wanted him to be this season. So Wheeler and some Phillies bats is where I'll likely be hanging out unless you want to be a little contrarian. Chicago White Sox at the Toronto Blue Jays. Lucas Giolito versus Robbie Ray, over under 8.5 in this one. Gio's 83 and 98, coming off a pretty solid start. Ray's 89 and 10.5. Both pitchers can be in play. Again, Toronto's bats are cold again on Tuesday night. I don't know what it is, if it's the humidor or what, but they're still cold. So Gio at 83, it's a great GPP play. I love Robbie Ray at 89, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, these are two amazing plays, which makes me completely off of bats here. And I'll take the risk on Giolito on probably a low ownership day for him. So I think I like him the most, but I mean, Robbie Ray has been mowing everybody down. So I'm just off of bats this game. I guess, stacking either side of this game would be a nice contrarian play.
Yeah, definitely will be contrarian. I like the Ray upside of the strikeouts a little more than Gio, but I think Gio's the better pitcher. 100% agree with you on that one. So I think both are great tournament plays. The FanDuel prices are steeper, but I still like it's the same theory. You got to play one pitcher, get them at low ownership, because most will go to Darvish or Wheeler, and you can get one of these other higher price guys at low ownership. You can do that in a tournament for sure. But you can use Ray or Gio as an SP2 or pair him with like Ohtani and get all kinds of bats, which makes it quite intriguing as well. Minnesota at Boston. We got some offense in this one. Bailey Ober versus Nick Pivetta, over under of 10.5. Woo! Pavetta's 8K and $8,100. You interested in that?
Let's go to bats. I mean, I'm not doing it. Polanco and Donaldson, a little PVB here. Polanco is 3 for 3 against Pivetta with triple and a bomb. 4 for 12 for Donaldson against him with 3 homers. Bogarts, Renfroe, Verdugo, Schwarber, and Sano have all been hot. So I'll just pick out of those bats.
Yeah, Polanco went deep on Tuesday as well, so I have no problem him hitting cleanup. Very affordable. Bit of a discount there. You mentioned Donaldson. You can look at some other pieces like Kepler, who had a nice night as well. So Minnesota, definitely an option versus Pivetta. But in that game went off. Lots of runs in that game as well on Tuesday. So no problem going back to Boston. They'll probably be popular. They're popular on Tuesday. But you got Devers, Renfroe had double donged on Tuesday. He's productive. Verdugo, Schwarber. There's a lot of Boston stuff to like in this one. So no problem game stacking this one up like you're going to want to game stack some other games this evening. San Francisco at the New York Mets. We have Johnny Cueto, Taijuan Walker, over under of 8.5 on this one. Cueto 76 and 81 coming off the IL. Walker 73 and 78. Kind of off the pitchers on this one for me, Boggs.
Yeah, I mean, Cueto might be okay just because the Mets have been really hitting lately. So I'm okay if you want to go with Cueto. But other than that, yeah, mainly bats here. I mean, like I said, no one really hitting for the Mets right now. There is a PVB, Pilar 4 for 6 against Cueto with a bomb, 7 for 10 for Drury against Cueto as well. So that's interesting with a double. Wade, La Stella, Solano, maybe if you're picking through this game. But what did you say the over was on this?
The over under 8.5.
8.5. All right. Yeah. I mean, I might take the under on that, but I've been great on over-unders recently, but just neither one of these. I mean, the Giants are pretty good today, but, they just haven't been great the last week or so.
Yeah, I got no problem going back to some Giants bats against Taijuan Walker. He's been scuffling tremendously of late. So the Belts who doubled on, Wade went deep. You look at some of these other options. Even La Stella hit the ball really well tonight. Didn't have a lot to show for it, but he got robbed on a couple. There's a lot to like in this lineup for me. Chris Bryant had the day off on Tuesday, so he'll be back in the lineup on Wednesday. If you want to put a little Giant stack out there, I have no problem with that at all. These Mets bats, though, as much as I don't want to use Cueto, I don't feel like stacking the Mets either. Texas at Cleveland on this one. We got Spencer Howard, he should be probably opening for 3 to 4 innings, and he got bullpen going up against Zach Plesac, who's $7,900 on DK, 85 on FanDuel. Actually, I think he's 85 on DK too, if I remember correctly. I could be. That's 85 DK, 79 FanDuel. That was my bad. I don't want either pitcher here. I like bats.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like many bats, but you can take Cleveland bats. Jose Ramirez, Ahmed Rosario, Fran Miller, your boy, Miles Straw, Daniel Johnson, a nice option too. Yep. Yeah, he's been playing pretty well since being called back up. So I would pick out of that group, and I'm ignoring the Rangers as a whole.
Yeah, if you want to go Cleveland stack, I'm on board with that again. I hope the Rangers just take Plesac to Pound Town. Always a fan of that because I think he's so overrated. But we will see. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Washington at Miami. This should be an absolute doozy. Josiah Gray versus Edward Cabrera. Over-under of 8. Josiah Gray's been a stud this year. 7,900 on DK, 8,000 on FanDuel. Edward Cabrera making his debut. 5K on DK, 73 on FanDuel. I honestly like both pitchers in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I love the price on Cabrera for sure. And Gray, 2 quality starts in a row. Pretty good draw against Miami here. So kind of makes me off of bats. I get, reverse psychology play, of course, Soto or Jazz Chisholm, Jesus Sanchez, Miguel Rojas, anyone that's been hitting recently, I guess would be okay. But I'm with you. I kind of like both these pitchers here. Who do you pick between them?
I think Josiah Gray, because we've seen it a few times. He's not going to have that, debut adrenaline rush going. We've seen pitchers overthrow and get messy and don't go deep into games. But and it's not every pitcher does that, but we've seen it more times than not. And we also just saw Eric Fede strike out 10 Marlins. Josiah Gray's been a strikeout machine against good and bad teams so far. So I like him in that aspect. But 5K, like 73 on FanDuel is one thing for Cabrera. 5K, it's going to be like he's going to be very, very popular, and for good reason. Yeah,
you're right. The price probably is going to make him too popular, but that price is great. I mean, I kind of like it.
Price. It's a phenomenal price. It's one though that makes me want to get a little Nats exposure if I have multiple lineups because he'll probably go 4 or 5 innings at the most because they're not going to go too deep with him, and he'll be popular. So if something goes wrong, you're on the positive side of this situation. So something to think about. Cincinnati at the Milwaukee Brewers on this one. We got Luis Castillo versus Brandon Woodruff. Over under of 7.5. Castillo 93 on DK, 97 on FanDuel. Woodruff 10-2 and 10-3. Both pretty solid pitchers. Do we go back to Woodruff after what they did to Burns?
No, I think he's a little too expensive, and he was rocked the last time out too. I think I'm going to let him get right. So, I'm more than happy to go with Castillo here. He's had a bunch of starts against Milwaukee this year. In his last 24 innings pitched, 4 earned, 28 strikeouts, 15 walks. So a lot of walks in there too. But I think I'd rather go Castillo at the discount and then maybe some Cleveland bats or Cincinnati bats, excuse me. It might be a little contrarian just because Woodruff is pitching, but Votto is 7 for 22 with 2 bombs against him. There is a little PVB data against Castillo too. Colton Wong 9 for 22, 2 doubles, a triple, and a bomb. 8 for 24 for Avisale with a homer. But Naquin, Castellanos, Farmer, Stevenson have all been hot. So I think I like Castillo and maybe a red stack here.
Yep, we're on the same page. I'm going back to Castillo, who hopefully comes in a little under-owned in this one. I like him a lot against Milwaukee. We saw Tyler Mahle pitch well, and you mentioned Castillo's been just fine against Milwaukee this year, and that's great to see. So jumping on that train, and then give me some Reds bats if you want to be contrarian. Like you said, they don't have to be your number one stack, but I can definitely see some nice upside with the Naquins and the Vottos and company against Brandon Woodruff, who has scuffled those last few times out. Last game of the evening, and it's an absolute doozy. We got the Los Angeles Dodgers versus San Diego Padres. Walker Buehler, Blake Snell, over under of 8. Somehow Buehler is only $9,700 on DK. He's 11-3 on FanDuel. Snell 75 at 9K. I want all of the Walker Buehler tonight.
What are they doing? I mean, it's almost like you have to buy him at that price. So yeah, I'm all over the Walker Buehler buy as well, which makes me out on San Diego bats. Snell has been pretty good recently. I mean, I'd love to cut him down, but he's been pretty decent. So you can pick through these expensive Dodgers bats if you want. I mean, Will Smith is 3 for 7 with a double against him. Pollock, Turner, Seager, Chris Taylor have been hot. So maybe someone in there, but mainly just Buehler from me.
Yeah, big fan of Buehler tonight. And Snell has been better at home this season than on the road, so I'll give him that much. But if you want to go with some Pollock and Trey Turner and Taylor, I have no problem with that. So maybe splash some Muncie if you want. No problem putting a Dodger stack against Snell. But if you want to stay away, I get it. I'm not going to roster Snell. But I definitely see the appeal in a situation like that. Now let's have some fun here, Bogman, because there's a ton of pitchers on this slate that are good. So let's. What are your top your aces for the evening?
I mean, I got 5 that I like. I guess how many you want me to pick here? 3?
Give me your 3 top pitchers.
All right, I'm gonna go Buehler, Wheeler, and Ohtani.
Yeah, I'm going to probably go Buehler, Ohtani, and Ray just for the price difference, but that's how many good pitchers there are on the slate, which is very, very fun to think about. Who would be your secondary options, your cheaper options?
Like Josiah Gray and Edward Cabrera, and then Giolito.
Yeah, I'm with you. Gray, I think, is a phenomenal option. Cabrera on DK is outstanding at that price point, so you kind of can't mess around with that one either. So I'm with you there. Who are we stacking up on this slate?
I mean, there's not a ton of great stacks. I like Arizona, Pittsburgh either side, Minnesota and Boston either side, and Cleveland against Texas.
Yeah, Arizona, Pittsburgh. I like the Arizona side better, but I definitely can see attacking Gilbert. I have zero problem. Pitch to contact. Man, if this was like a good team, it would be all in on attacking Arizona. So I like the exposure there. Like you mentioned, LA going up against Baltimore, the Angels going against Kramer. Big fan of that one as well. And then the Giants, I don't mind a little exposure there against the Mets. You mentioned that Minnesota-Boston game. I like that a lot as well. Cleveland's in a great spot. Who would be your top contrarian stack tonight?
That would be the Reds. I would go with the Reds against Woodruff.
I think the Reds is a great one, and also pay attention to Cabrera's ownership because you might get some Nats fun in there. But again, like we talked about yesterday, there's the Nats and there's the Reds. There's a good offense, and then there's the Nats. So being contrarian is something to take to your advantage there. All right. Remember, everybody, if you can go to iTunes, give a rate and review, we'd much appreciate it. 5 stars, and then give all the constructive criticism you want after 5 stars. That's the rule. I don't make them. That's just the rules. And then also, if you want to watch us on the YouTube channel, go to the Line Star YouTube channel, give it a subscribe and a thumbs up there. You won't regret that either because there's something goofy at least once an episode that you're thoroughly going to enjoy. And then, follow Line Star on Twitter at Line Star App and at Line Star MLB because they tweet out all kinds of great content, the lineups, the home runs, the news, all kinds of goodies. Plus, Monday through Friday, they tweet out the home run calls of the day, where Bogman, myself, and Ryan Humphreys will give us your home run calls. If you retweet them, 3 lucky retweeters will get paired with each one of us, and you get some free swag if our guy goes deep. So, Bogman, on Wednesday, August 25th, who is your home run call of the day?
Give me Josh Donaldson. Pretty good track record here against Nick Pivetta. So 3 bombs against him already. Let's go back to a little PVB data and go Donaldson to go deep tonight.
Little Donaldson to go deep. I don't mind that one at all.
Donaldson dong
time. I am going to Boston. Going to Boston this one. I'm going Rafael Devers. Rafael Devers taking Bailey Ober deep. Going to Fenway, getting a little home run action there. Going downtown. I have no accents. My accents are horrible. I'm the worst at them on the face of the planet. In my head, they sound perfect. On paper, they're my wife.
He's gonna hit it wicked far.
Hey, there goes no wicked far. My wife
over the monster.
Here you go. Go full Mark Wahlberg. Go full The Town. Great movie, by the way. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. I got Devers. You got Donaldson, so a couple double D action. We'll see what Ryan Humphreys pulls out in this one and see where we go there. But hey, 10-game slate in the books. We got a fun Thursday coming your way, and then a full slate Friday to wrap things up. So you guys have a good one. Follow Bogman on Twitter at Bogman Sports. I'm at BD Hendrick. Good luck, everybody.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Line Star App On Deck podcast. Download Line Star app from the App Store or go to linestarapp.com for all your DFS baseball needs. If you love the On Deck podcast, support KC, Bubba, and Bogman by rating and subscribing. Good luck.